All right, 3, 2. And we are waiting. And we're live. All right. Here with my friend Nate. Impromptu podcast. Third podcast of the day, might I add. I feel very official. And what a pleasant surprise. Just passing through my neck of the woods.
Yes, Brian. I can hear you. You're coming through well. Is it okay that I have this Sonic cup here on camera?
You just relax, okay, bro. Yeah. Right. It's like that's the whole, just kind of chilling. So I was talking to somebody earlier. Some people would get like real nervous about it. It's just like the more natural, because like nothing really changes because we were just joking that we talked about a bunch of good stuff before we hit record, but just like, you know, we're recording, but it's just like we're not, you know.
I am a little nervous.
Yeah, that's
okay.
But yeah, so what were we chatting about before I turned everything on?
Well, so I'm in this neck of the woods just because we're going to the seminar
we're teaching
tomorrow.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu camp.
In Little Rock. Danny Dring.
The next generation. Yeah. Yeah, no, we were talking about Brazil before that. Chatting about brain damage and CTE and a variety of luscious topics.
Brian was telling me about CTE.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's very fascinating to me. I've been researching it because anytime somebody gets multiple concussions, you know, and I think you and I both know people that have had multiple concussions, and that's just the way that guy that I told you was on earlier was talking about, like him being a quarterback for, you know, like I think like 5 years in college at 2 different universities. And then playing like, I don't know, arena or semi-pro or whatever you classify what he was doing in Europe. But it's like you're getting hit all the time. I mean, it's like it's not like he was getting carried off the field on a stretcher 3 times in his career because of a concussion, but multiple concussions. It's like you ever heard during, and I told this story earlier on the podcast, so, but about those girls at IKF that died because of the brain damage previously in the training camp, and then they probably got a concussion in fight 1, and then by fight 2 they were checked out for good.
I did hear about that.
Super real. And I think that some of those fighters we were talking about earlier are going to be in for it. Like Matt Brown was just on Joe Rogan talking about, you know, not remembering. Like, Donald Cerrone knocked him out, I think, with a head kick, if memory serves me correct. Yeah. Which, here's the great part about this. That TV has UFC Fight Pass on it. We can just pull up any fight. It's so great. I think I got to get my phone connected to it because I got that new phone today. But we could do it. So that's one thing we do. Like, I did my MMA show earlier today, whereas MMA Unraveled. Yeah. So the 4th one we've done. And the 3rd one, I think it was, we watched all of Francis Ngannou's fights before this, and like after watching all of his fights, I was like, I don't think that he's gonna win, and he didn't.
Right.
So, but I will say that Stipe had a masterclass plan put together, dude. That was a great fight.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest heavyweight fights I've ever seen against, like, that dude. I mean, like, Ngannou has some like serious weaknesses, but he is also a killer. The dude is a killer.
Yeah, he is. I think his wrestling was his weakness a little bit, basically.
Indeed. So, dude, check this out. Jack showed this escape from side mount. And you know, like, if somebody has like an underhook or they're doing like head arm, like they're under your head and they're under your shoulder on the far side, you know, just like they have you in side mount.
Yeah. Side body?
Yeah, cross side, side guard. That's like Sharpie calls it side guard sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there's some confusion there because everybody started calling side guard when you have like two arms over on one side in the guard.
Okay.
You know, side guard. Jiu-Jitsu terms, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, you put two arms on one side.
Yeah. You know, like gift wrap from guard, basically.
Sure.
You know, you could flower sweep and stuff like that. So from there, Jack showed this super dope overhook escape, and guess what? It utilized.
Escape from the bottom.
Yeah, well, it utilized the overhook on that underhooking arm, but the power of the pendulum, bro.
Okay.
It was that escape. It was like the pendulum legs, but with an overhook. On that underhooking arm.
Did he drop it down to the mat?
He was like, it was all about getting that shoulder off the mat, you know?
Okay.
And then, like, he was, like, talking about guillotining the arm. It was good,
Right.
dude. He showed that, and then he showed the inside underhook escape, and he showed, like, an outside underhook escape, all with these, like, high-level connection details. It blew my mind. Maybe we can, like, get to the side and I can, like, because it's crazy how, like, he was talking about, like, connecting on the inside underhook, connecting the shoulder to him.
Okay.
Never seen or thought about it.
So he has the overhook. Like, it's acting like a wizard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he grabbing his arm like that? Is he grabbing his...
No.
Okay.
Just like this.
So the pendulum, which way does the pendulum go?
So, like, if they're over on this side, I overhook, but I, like, my legs go up and go that way, and then I pendulum them into my opponent. But I lock them in when I get them to the top.
Out then back in?
Out then back in. I lock them in at the top and then hip out. You know, just like you do.
Okay. And then are you driving this down this way?
To an extent, like, you know what Drain calls single wing guard?
Yeah, with the shin and the
yeah, you kind of go into that, like shin in, foot on the hip, and then the other one's like, you know, like ready to do that. And then, man, Jack showed me this deal that was like Michael Laster and I did a private lesson with him Sunday morning, and it was he was calling it Hickson's Valley Judo guard, and it was kind of like that armbar triangle omoplata position, like I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But totally different, dude. Like, I'm talking like the pressure, the amount of pressure you put on like the back of their neck with your legs. They can't hit you in the dick. They can't scratch you. They can't elbow you. They can't punch you. And you can do all of that to them and put them in a triangle armbar omoplata.
Mm-hmm. And how are you putting that pressure on there?
Kind of about, it's just like these connection details, like lifting the hips off the mat, inverting the knee, and then pinching one knee on one side of their chin and the other knee like on the shoulder, but the foot is like here. Like, and that knee inverts over here, and it just, man, it puts a lot of pressure right here in that bend on the back of your neck. And
your face drives down to the
and mat. I've done that move for like years and years and years. I've done that series. I've done those positions.
So you were already doing it,
but not that way.
Oh, not with that kind of pressure.
Not that way, dude. Jack, that's what blows my mind about Jack, man. Like, just such like I said, I got to spend like 6 hours with him this time around doing jiu-jitsu. But then we talked about jiu-jitsu plenty. But such a big influence. Like, man, he's taught me so much stuff. It's amazing.
I really do wish I could have made that seminar. I really like Jack.
He's coming back. It'll probably, I don't know if we will have him again this year. I'm definitely gonna have him as much as possible. But Eric's gonna have him sometime in like the next 6 months, which is kind of far off for you. But yeah. The peripheral zone. You know what would be super dope is if Jack would teach at that Memphis event. That would be super dope.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's either way, I think Eric's gonna bring him in.
Yeah, and Eric's coming up to our place.
Yeah. When is that? Like next weekend?
It's coming up soon. Yeah, I think so.
The 24th?
Next weekend, yeah.
Cora is also teaching up there.
Oh, yeah, when's that?
A women's thing.
Same day?
I don't know. No. I don't know.
Cool.
I can't remember. There's a lot of stuff going on.
That women's program is really jumping off over there. Natalie has been teaching.
Good, yeah. So she's doing pans?
Speaking of blue belts teaching classes.
Yeah, well, she just got her purple belt, right?
Okay, yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, so we were talking before about how I think it's CBJJ has banned purple and brown belts from teaching jiu-jitsu within that association. And we were just giving our thoughts on that. Which we already gave them.
And you can have arguments on both sides, I think.
Yeah, that's the great part about.
Like right now, the argument for Natalie teaching is because she's like a leader amongst the women, and it's a women's group, and she's one of the highest ranking women that we have, and
well, and I mean honestly,
she's qualified. They like her. She does a good job. So.
There are a few. I can think of just a handful of other people that are above purple belt that are female in our state, and then only a handful more in all the peripheral states. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get on into Texas, definitely you get a lot more, but and I don't know the landscape as much in Oklahoma and other surrounding areas, but I feel like that's a pretty fair assessment. It's changed a lot, especially in this region, but in the United States over the last, I mean, just since you and I have been doing it, it's changed so much. Change. And I think that the women have always been, their ranks have always been smaller, but I think that I think that's going to change more and more too. So
yeah, before you know it, Natalie will be a black belt. I mean, we'll witness that happen. I can imagine.
Yeah, dude, I can't. It blows my mind to think about Cora getting her black belt in BJJ.
Right.
She's got a brown belt in Judo. So.
Nice.
She's a little beast, man.
I'm sure
she's gonna get super strong.
She'll kick my butt in Judo competition.
She's got an edge. It really, I think it helps her in the clinch. Like she's got a pretty good handle on hip throws. That's one thing that Hickson showed me back in July, was like the proper way to do a hip throw. And I think we went over that. But
I remember like the hip positioning.
You don't do it in a 180. You do it in 290s.
Okay.
That's the difference. And it makes all the difference in the world because you give me the second 90. You know what I'm saying? So I go in, I get teed up with you. I actually have video of this on our YouTube. But I go in, I tee up with you. I'm here. And then when you try and get away from me, you try and get your hips off of my hips, I let you off and step in front of you. Douche.
Uh-huh.
Oh, gosh.
I remember you showing me that.
Yeah, dude, it's super effective. I love it.
That's amazing,
dude.
I feel like I witnessed a lot of that in some Greco-Roman battles that I was watching the other day.
Yeah, dude, highlights. It's like, well, so have you ever watched Mifune's Essence of Judo, where he's sparring all of those black belts and stuff?
No.
Oh, dude, it's super dope.
Let's watch it. Bring it up.
Yeah, let me pull it up right here. I'm actually going to pull it up on the Mac because I fear that my phone is not connected to that TV. Yeah, my phone broke this morning. I had to go get a new one, which I'm super happy about, actually, now that I did it. 'Cause my phone had, stopped ringing, which I don't ever really talk on the phone that much anyway, to, a select few people whose phone number I usually have memorized, So, let's see if we can't pull it up. I'm actually... Okay. Yeah, so Mifune is doing this stuff in this video. I just was showing this to somebody, not on the podcast, but recently. Oh, there's new Joe Rogan out. Phil Demers. Okay. Let's find it. Here's a bunch of them. I want to get the one of him sparring. Okay. Kyuzo Mifune, god of judo, 75-year-old judo master, destroys students, must see. So we're watching this video. It's by Judo Cape Town, 30,000 views 8 months ago. See, I don't have it plugged in either right now. But if I'm sorry, it's because it's on the TV. If we were getting this through the TV, we would hear it in the headphones and it wouldn't record. Anyway, I could have skipped that ad. Okay, so like watch the hip block I was talking about here. And I'm not going to edit this into the video because I've got a lot of stuff to do. But you're going to like this. It's all posture and hip block, dude. He surfs out of a lot of stuff too, like ride along avoidance. That was a hip block.
Damn.
Just fireman's carried the shit out of that dude. Hip block. He was a 10th degree in judo.
He's a very small man.
Trained with Kano.
Against a very large man.
Hip block.
When was this?
This was 60s, I think. I think he died in 1969, if I'm not mistaken. Hip block. See, from that side hip position like that, you can do so many throws. It's like an ecosystem of opportunity.
I mean, he's an amazing old man.
Yeah, dude. I know. Like it's so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure this is false, but the rumor is that he was never thrown.
Huh.
This dude's a 7th degree. Would you see his feet there? What he's doing?
Yeah. Dang. Do you think it's at all choreographed? Or do you think it's like...
I've watched it a few times. I mean, there's that possibility, but...
There's a little bit of choreography.
So, I mean, I'm sure on some of this, they're doing katas and stuff. Here's some more of them, like, doing, like, they're doing randori. They're not doing, like, Shia, which would be, like, competition.
So you think they're just randoring?
Yeah, I would classify what they're doing as randori, okay. But yes and no, because I kind of feel like there's a lot of ways to do randori.
Exactly. Sure.
And in their version of randori, they're all his bitches.
70 years old, yeah. I mean, 70.
But I mean, this dude is super legit. I mean, watch him. He's like a freaking cat, man. I mean, and they're trying to throw him. You know what I'm saying? Is that me?
I can imagine. Oh my God, that was amazing. That throw right there. That was fast and hard. Oh my gosh, that was nice. Looks like their hips get beat up though. Those like slamming hips all the time, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's more about posture to me than anything. about it's like what Hickson and well, I mean Jack told me this stuff, so like I say Hickson, but he just said that he learned it from Hickson. But what they would call the middle, it's like you're trying to break me forward at the hips, so I bring my hips forward, or you're trying to break me backwards, bring me, might bring my head forward, so I bring my hips forward. When you push them backwards, I push forward at the same time. And it's like it's force for force type of a situation. It depends on how hard and fast you hit me with that hip throw, that I have to do that to maintain balance.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people skirt over that. Like wherever they're at, that throw was so hard it shook the camera. Did you see that? It was like doo-doo-doo. Yeah, Mifune was super legit. This is called Essence of Judo, if anybody wants to watch it. Super good. I may edit it in. I may take a look at what...
Curry a minute ago was nice.
Okuri. Remember when you Okuri the shit out of me that one time, bro?
Really?
Yeah, do you remember that? Like the team workout?
Dude.
You did it super sick, bro. We were just kind of like dancing around. I was trying to judo you, and you judoed me.
If someone can get a nice clean Okuri, man, hats off to him.
It was, dude. See, but like that's all this posture and hips, dude. Posture,
Right.
hip block. I just feel like it's just like Hickson taught it that way, and it was profound. Like I'm gonna teach some of this super basic posture defense stuff, like how to defend against an Osoto and stuff tomorrow. Just how to not be off balance in all directions.
You basically counter the Osoto pretty easily if you can do that.
Yeah. You remember on like the Ultimate Fighters, I think it was season 2. Oh man. Okay, so we lost our audio feed, but that's okay because we still got this up here. We don't even technically need the audio feed. For whatever reason, when it started playing the YouTube, it cut the audio feed off. At 18 minutes.
Is it back on?
Well, that's kind of good. Now I know where to edit. I'll go back and I'll edit in that video of Mifune. I'll like put it in at the bottom.
Okay. So we still don't have an audio?
No, we do. It's on the camera. That's the fascinating part about this little get up. I'll go ahead and turn the audio back on. So we lost the audio and now we're back, so I may not even post this, but anyway. But we still have the audio on the camera, so that's the thing. I do 2 different feeds. But what I can do is I can just separate the audio out from that feed and put it in the same fashion.
Okay.
So... But it's actually good, and it's good. It's good in the same way because all that stuff we're talking about on the audio, like people can't, they're in their cars or whatever. So like I do. So like I do.
Oh, it was a live feed.
Yeah, this basically is in a way. But so like when we stopped to watch the YouTube video, it stopped recording for whatever reason. So like all that commenting we did on it on the audio feed here on the Mac. It didn't record.
Yeah.
But on the camera, it records the whole time, everything from the mics.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 different feeds. So I can pull the audio feed from the camera.
For sure.
As well. So beneficial. Indeed.
Dude.
Same
quality?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little better quality. I think I need a little better quality on the audio only. We're still adjusting. Like I said, by our 100th episode, it's going to be so legit.
It sounds amazing.
Well, thanks, dude. It's getting better all the time. So I said, like, the room's going to get better. I got some new tech stuff I'm going to get over the next few months. I'm going to set up at least one other spot that I'm going to do solo podcasting. Cause like I don't really want to move that camera around a whole lot. I'm open to like moving the table more so than like, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know. That's just like you see all the cords over there. There's a lot of cords.
Yeah.
A lot of cords to deal with in this room.
Yeah.
But so I'm coming up with more efficient ways to do that all along. And same thing with the lighting and just the backdrops and everything.
There would be really no reason to shift it any which way. I mean, it's the same it's the same four-sided thing.
Yeah, and in like our first, I think my first 8 podcasts were audio only. So then I started. I think that my first MMA Unraveled was a video.
What? You're good looking. You should be on video.
Thanks, man. They told me not to cut my hair at the university because they like it. So, yeah. Well, what else is new, man? You about to graduate?
Yeah. So I have this last semester, and I have 4 classes, but there was one more class that I supposedly needed to graduate, and so I'm either gonna have to take it in the summer, in the intersession, or I'm going to see if I can finagle some sort of credit through what I do through Inferno, but because I've heard of that happening before. I've heard of cases of that.
Yeah, so, I had one of my guys do an internship for the nonprofit.
Yeah, like if I do some marketing or something.
Alex the intern.
Yeah. Cool.
Shout out to Alex the intern.
Right. Yeah, so we can get somebody to sign off on some credit or something and make this be the last semester. But either way, like if I had to take a summer class or something, I would not be mad.
Yeah.
I would not be mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be teaching more classes coming up. I'm excited. I want to teach U.S. history too.
More face to face or more?
I feel like I would only want to teach like a couple of face to face. Like I really want to do like 2 online courses, and I would like to do the same 2 courses in the class, and just kind of like run them all alongside.
Which 2 courses would you like to do?
Well, it would just be super beneficial if I could just redo Western Civ again,
Okay.
Western Civ 2, and then do like 2 sections of U.S. history too. And then it's possible I could as well teach Arkansas history. It's a lot to undertake. I would definitely need to do some transitional. Like I don't really see teaching 5 classes next semester, but I feel like I'm probably gonna have the option to teach a few.
How is your Arkansas history? Mine's bad.
Oh yeah, what you know about DeSoto?
Is he? Did he come through on the Arkansas River?
He did.
With
Perhaps
silver
he died
or something?
there. Perhaps he died there.
Perhaps with some silver.
Have you ever heard of Koski?
No.
Look it up. It's actually a really cool story. Like on the way to Memphis, you pass Parkin.
Okay.
That's like a national park, and there's these mounds there. The Mississippian culture. It's just super cool. Discovery culture that spanned, all across, like from here all the way to the Atlantic. And they were wiped out by disease from the Spanish contact. And then the Spanish, on their other colonization efforts, when they go down to South America, wipe out through disease. It's ultimately disease that wipes out the Inca and the Aztec as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, what happens with that disease? Like,
I think it
what are the
was
symptoms that ends up happening to everybody?
I think it was just versions of the Black Death, because the plague was Black Death and stuff was still going on as late as 1660, and as early as 1330 came out of Mongolia.
And what happened to people when they died of that? Like, how'd they die?
There's 3 different strands of it: systemic, bubonic, and pneumonic. And each one was spread different ways and had different symptoms. So it would depend.
Okay. Do you know?
Vaguely. I can't tell you.
You can't say for sure?
I would hate to. I mean, if I had my notes in front of me. But, I just recently went over it. It's just, That's kind of trivial information to me.
Okay.
But just like I'm happy that I remembered all three of the different types. But some of them would it's like getting your bloodstream, you'd be dead like in a matter of hours. Some it's a long drawn out process in which you're just retching sick, and then I think boils.
And so that's not a thing anymore. The Black Death.
Well,
or is it?
I think it's still around. I think we can just manage it.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's like you've been diagnosed. You have the Black Death. I wonder what it is now, though. What it's considered to be called.
Yeah. White Death, bubonic plague. But there, like right around that, the same time that the Black Death hit its height, there was like this famine in Europe as well. And between those two events, up to 50% of Europe's population. Oof.
My God.
Dear God.
Dear God. That's so hard because like everybody, like everybody around you sick and you want to take care of people, but you don't want to freaking die with them. Like
I know.
But some people, I'm sure, were just immune to it, just the way that their DNA was.
What do you think about us giving certain Native American tribes smallpox infested blankets?
Like
we did that as like a peace offering. I think it was not a Canadian tribe, but like in that area, like New York. I want to say the Iroquois, but I could be wrong. But that was there were these blankets that had been like, there was like an area that had been infested with smallpox, and like all these people had died, and they took all the blankets from the beds and they gave them to that tribe as a gift, as like a.
Oh, so they purposefully did that.
Yeah.
Fuck Christ. As a gift for what? Fuck Christ.
Their departure. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's just like they were trying to wipe them out, I'm sure.
Okay, right.
Yeah. You know, one of the coolest classes I ever took was frontier history.
I can imagine.
Yeah. There's a guy named I think his name's John MacFarriger. He has this thing called I believe it's called the Frontier Thesis. I could be butchering who wrote that. But it's basically this view of the frontier that was first formed. But man, like Rocky Mountain culture and like 1850s, the Blackfeet and Daniel Boone and Sioux Indians. And like we read this book on Crazy Horse. It was super dope, bro. Super dope.
Oh, man, I can imagine. What was Daniel Boone up to? What was he doing?
Oh, just traveling through Kentucky. That I wasn't as into the Daniel Boone. I can't recall that as much. There was a book also that we read called Wild and Perilous, and it was about like the Rocky Mountain, like Jedediah Smith and stuff like that. Did you see that movie, The Revenant?
No, not yet.
Oh, dude, it's good. You gotta watch it. Well, yeah, I say it's good. We just watched it once. Hey, look, our microphones are crossing. They're crossing streams.
It's when I saw that trailer come out for that, I immediately said that I wanted to see it, and I didn't ever.
Corey and I went to see it in theaters.
Okay, can we get a hold of it? Well, we'll watch it.
I feel like
it's kind of long, isn't it?
It is kind of long. It's definitely a worthy watch. I feel like it was on something streamable recently. Maybe HBO, Amazon, Stars.
It's all good. I just have Hulu and Netflix.
I have that too.
And YouTube.
Dude, YouTube's so good.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing.
See, that's what was. I mentioned this earlier, and I may have mentioned this even on the podcast. But there's like not an audio version of YouTube. Like you can't. There's There's like SoundCloud. You can upload 3 hours. Anyone can do that. 3 hours a month. But dude, it's like one podcast I did was 3 hours. I will have done like I've already hit over 3 hours of podcasting today.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
what about that? It's Podbeam or something?
Podbean. So that I had to pay $108 for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's to get like unlimited audio hosting. And then that gets me in Stitcher and iTunes. And I submitted to Spotify, but I haven't heard anything back. So fingers crossed that I get that 0.0000009% of the listen. So I can only speculate about this, but so there was a fighter, and I don't remember her name. Maybe Carla Esparza, maybe Paige Van Zandt. I don't know. One of these fighters in the female division that fought recently. I just heard about it today.
Okay.
I can't remember who it was. But they're not allowed to walk out to a Metallica song anymore.
Okay.
And I'm sure
because of Metallica.
I'm sure it's because of the so the UFC has UFC Fight Pass, so they have now monetized the digital experience beyond when it happens on a month-to-month basis, and Metallica gets no share of that. So when their walkout music, when Metallica is featured in the walkout music, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like all the fighters were like, oh, I'm not allowed to walk out to this Metallica.
So who does UFC deem worthy of, putting on their payroll for that? Who does get to? Who does get to be played?
I don't know.
I mean, they pay somebody if they're playing.
Well,
them.
and then that's another thing. Like, there's like these conglomerates, whether they're record labels or whatever, that own certain songs. Like, I've had this happen to me. I've been doing a Facebook Live in the gym, and I kind of stopped doing it because of this, because we always have music playing, and it'll be like, we heard this song playing in the background, and if you're trying to upload this, that's illegal, and you're going to get banned from doing videos on Facebook. Like, it's like, do you still want to do this, or do you want to delete it right now? And it's like, well, fuck, delete, Damn it.
It recognized it.
Yeah, and the first time it didn't give me the option to say, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, and I don't want to post it.
What did it say the first time?
The first time I got banned for like 7 days from posting videos on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
That'd be horrible. Yeah. So, what do you think about the name of the podcast? Life Unraveled.
I love it. You know a lot about life, and
dude, you know what? I didn't even think of the name. Mike thought of it.
You dig hard to unravel it. Like,
yeah.
I've always said, like, the amount of passion that you put towards your research is like commendable.
Well, thanks, dude. I was bragging on you to somebody maybe yesterday or today, one about being a Mr. Academia yourself, 4.0 student over here. That's super impressive, because I mean, more times than not that I've known you weren't going to college or anything like that. And I'm not saying, I go to college and do that, because I think that everybody's path can be different, and it could be vocational. It could be, there's a lot of people that never went to college that are doing super great shit.
Yeah.
It's alarming.
You were running a gym, going to college, teaching in the gym, making videos. This is pretty cool, man. You're busy. I was getting my sleep.
Yeah, I just want to do all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And none of the things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of my philosophy.
I want to be a good dancer. That's important to me.
Yeah,
It's really high on my list.
You got the rhythm, dude. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
We were joking about this the other morning. I was doing a private lesson with somebody, and it came up because I was talking about doing this like a downward elbow move, and I was like, to like break somebody's arm, like off a collar tie. And I was like, it's like Funky Disco Truck Driver. And do you remember that movie Starsky and Hutch where Ben Stiller gets in that dance off with that dude?
Barely.
It's so good. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I definitely want to rewatch it now. That was such a good movie.
Can't remember the dance. I can't remember how it went.
It's good. Like Ben Stiller does all this stuff, like accidental cocaine that they say is like sugar, but it's definitely cocaine. He just like keeps doing it, and he challenges the dude to dance off, and it's hilarious.
That seems like a common theme in a couple of movies I can think of.
Yeah, like American Pie 3.
American Pie 3 and what's that one? Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh, dude, that's a good one. That
is.
I hadn't seen that in a long time. I need to rewatch it. I think Corey and I have that.
Take me home tonight.
Dude, you got amazing voice too.
Thanks.
You're a regular Renaissance man yourself, Mr. Finance, business finance.
Yeah, finance. It's like, but you know me, like my memory's not that well, so I can like take a class and like make an okay grade and be like, oh, okay, yeah. In order to do that, I need to go over it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think like once you hit the job field, unless like I think if you're going to start your own company, becoming highly specialized or whatever, but whether you start your own company or whether you work for a company, I feel like you're going to have a defined job, like a set of duties. That's just key for everything. It's just like for me at the gym, it's like I show up at these times and I do these things. These are my jobs, and then even with this, like I like try and think of like, okay, I need to go back to episode 1 and put parentheses, audio only, and then I need to go back and add thumbnails to these 5 podcasts and save those in that folder, and then go back over to. So it's like I have these checklists of things going, like at all times for like my class, or the gym and the classes I'm teaching, or just like the marketing or whatever I'm working on. Like that's my set of obligations, I guess. But it's not obligations a bad way to
it's not an obligation for you. These are all choices that you're making to establish your position, your brand position, which is from several different angles. And so like you're just broadening that whole horizon for yourself, and you're making depth with it as well. Like, you don't just do surface research. Like, you dig deep into things, and it's gonna be cool to it's like enjoy watching that evolve and like see where you're at, dude. And I'll be like, okay, remember me? Can I get on the show again? Yeah, thanks. Man.
Yeah, nah, dude. Well, thank you, but I'm looking forward to like the next 10 years of life. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like is waiting in the wings for me. So, and I'm excited to make it all happen. I wonder what that dog's doing out there. Hopefully he's sleeping in front of the door.
Wishing he was in here.
Yeah,
but he's probably
dude, I'm not gonna lie. You're the only person he's ever dry humped. Twice. Nuh-uh. Totally. Dude's neutered, man. Doesn't even have any balls.
Well, like I said, I appreciate the gesture. It makes me feel sexy.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I've only seen you do that once. That other time Nate was over here.
Really?
And then two different people, Derek Huddleston and then Jerry Bruckheimer's nephew, Sandy, who's coming on the podcast. He keeps ducking me. He's coming though. He's been trying to coordinate a day with me for a little bit. So like I've just been keeping people stacked too. I've been keeping guests lined up. So I've got 2 guests for next week. We did 3 guests today. I'm recording 2 different solo podcasts, like piecemeal in my spare time, that are just like audio only. But I've been keeping the guests lined up. I got at least 1 guest for the week after that. And I'm doing like different spots. It's like this will be a Laugh Unraveled spot. Like I know I'm doing 2 music Unraveleds next Friday.
You're gonna have to do some voice exercises so you don't lose it.
Yeah,
You have to stretch it out.
what I want to look into more is like, so it's, podcasting is unique and it's more conversational than like me being an interviewer, but I'm still an interviewer.
Right.
I
depend on you.
Well, yeah. So like some people do. So like, but like that is very like interpretational. Like while that is a thing, like today, like that guy I had on, I chatted with him a lot, but I tried to sit back and let him talk a lot. And I don't know how much, like proportionally, it was probably like a 60-40 thing. But it's just like, there's this little subtle things I'm already picking up on about guiding the conversation. And I mean, on no level have figured anything out yet.
Right. Well, I'm sure you figured some stuff out.
Yeah, what's funny is like I can hear just a small clip when I'm editing and be like, I got why am I doing that? Just basic stuff, saying a lot, just not pausing. That's what people need to do more, I think. I was thinking about this earlier, is to pause instead of say whatever, is just to just pause.
When you said, oh, yeah. Where did you get that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I do.
Where?
You don't know?
Well, we don't know where.
Dream.
Oh, he does say that a lot.
That's where you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, little something we picked up from Drake. That's funny, isn't it?
Man, I missed the weeping camp this year. I was pretty sad about it.
I've never made it to a weeping thing. I'm not sure I have the desire, like with all the
it's pretty rough, dude. I had a staph infection. It was super gnarly. Like right after I had the flu, I guess my immune system was jacked. I probably had, I would say, 20 total people from the gym that have been out with the flu over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I even had one person that got it. Maybe that person was in my class at the university, got it twice. How's that even a thing?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny. That's sad.
It's not funny.
I apologize. I really am kind of like mean like that. Like my initial reaction is funny, but like when you get close to the action, it's really not funny, that type of thing. But
what's so funny too? It's like you could be just like a killer when somebody be sparring with you, but like right after, I'd never be mad at you. Like, you ever see like two people get mad at each other after sparring?
Yeah.
I could never be mad at you, dude.
At me?
Yeah. No, not about that. Not about maybe anything.
Not even if I tried some Krav Maga moves on you?
I mean, everybody's entitled to one good dick punch in a sparring match, or a dick kick.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, I make Krav Maga references in some of my classes, and there's a student that is a previous Krav Maga student, and I forget sometimes, and I'll like make a reference and I'll be like, oh, not to illegitimize what you've done or anything, but like, yeah, I mean, in the streets, yeah, you're gonna get that groin shot, so whatever.
Yeah. Man, self-defense is a fascinating topic. That's like Hickson's coming out with this series right now called the Self-Defense Unit.
Okay.
And he's released like a little piece of it already, and it was kind of like a single under guard pass, but it's the one where you kind of like bait the triangle. It's not one I do, so I'll just have to work on it.
Okay.
But I want to say there's a clip of it on YouTube. But he's coming out with all these self-defense techniques, and they're going to be like the old school, like Elio Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense katas.
Nice.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
Old school.
Yeah.
Well, and like I go back. Let me go back to Krav Maga real quick, just because like I want to give it a little bit of credit. I kind of clown on that a little bit, but you know, some people they can't even think about like hitting to the throat or the eyes or the groin. And like to me that's like. If you don't know how to do that, then like
well,
I don't know
like
what you are
a revolutionary thought in jiu-jitsu for me is learning how to stop those things. Like the Hickson jiu-jitsu, like I was mentioning that position earlier, you can't scratch them, you can't elbow them, you can't punch them, can't like maybe even can't bite them.
Right, because those things are a problem. And this lady came into the gym the other day, and she was looking like for a one-time seminar, and I was like. You know, you can come to a seminar and like think you can come to one seminar and think that you can perform. I think she was like 70 and think that you can perform, you know.
I need to take her to the shooting range.
But I was like, you're going to need to practice this stuff over and over and over if you think that you want to do it at a time when you need to do it.
Well, and just having I have a couple of people I work, like we don't really do strictly jiu-jitsu. I do a lot of just posture and base and escaping side mount and escaping mount. Like we don't really roll. I'm not really teaching him jiu-jitsu. We don't work in a gi. He's not training. I show him occasionally basics of punching, clinches, you know, just basic self-defense stuff that. Some of it's stuff I picked up from Jack or Hickson or during, you know, Inasano stuff that is, you know, I think is pretty valid. And this is through a lot of research of trying to figure out what's valid and because there's a lot of bullshit out there, you know, and I get that. And it's like I saw somebody online bagging on people training standing wrist locks the other day. And I was like, you know, there's something special about like the way Dream does wrist locks that like is unlike anyone else I've ever had put me in a wrist lock, and I can capture a piece of that, and I like just like the idea of like doing a wrist lock with one hand.
There's
like
if I get
your right hand, I can wrist lock it with one hand, and that's like just from like right here with like just that. And to the point of like putting you on your knees and that is amazing control elsewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I've slipped that in on the ground. I can't tell you how many times off of a shoulder lock or an arm lock.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually finished
from side control or something.
Well, just a half guard. It depends on the situation. Inside of a triangle, the mount.
You did that to someone inside of a triangle?
Yeah.
They were inside of a triangle?
Well, you know, Daniel Ray one time submitted me. Like, you're in the triangle, and then you got wrist locks.
Okay, right.
Like that arm that's across right there, they forget about that shit. Yeah. And, like, the elbow's wedged against the inner thigh. Mm-hmm. So...
and you can use that wrist lock to drag the arm wherever you want to.
Exactly. I mean, if you can get a hold of that grip. But through training that stuff is why I'm good at that. Uh-huh. Yeah, I like just in like the course of just all the jiu-jitsu matches I had in competition, I did finish 4 matches with a wrist lock.
That's amazing. Because in traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you don't. Traditionally in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you don't focus
See, that's
on
it, man.
wrist
like,
locks.
And this is where I'm at with grappling, with jiu-jitsu, with martial arts, self-defense, whatever. Is I've always done that. I got I think I was a blue belt the first wrist lock I got in competition. I could have been like a brand new purple belt, and I think I got one at brown belt, and then the rest of them were at purple belt, and maybe one was at blue. I can't remember, but it's the same with leg locks. It's like I said, like one of the main reasons I'm out of the IBJJF loop is because it's like, you mean to tell me there's hundreds of submissions that adult black belts are not allowed to do? Hundreds?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
I
mean, if you take every position every positional entry for any leg lock that involves a heel hook, a reap, or lateral pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just bogus, man. Spinal locks and neck cranks, totally illegal from all positions. It's like those people can tap. It's like I think it more comes down to people not wanting to pay insurance premiums, which I don't think are really going to go. I don't think it's that big of an, like, there's that many incidents.
Well, I don't think that the people doing the insurance premiums would even know enough about the sport. Or, maybe they do. Would even know what moves could
I know,
we
we do run into that. There's a lot of ignorance out there about martial arts academies. It's interesting. A lot of biases. You almost have to go through a company that exclusively deals with that nature of, where there's like a bit of a liability, like it's like an exercise based, I guess would be a good way to put it. It's not just martial arts. It's not just, but there is a little bit of a stigma associated with it. Like, oh, do you spar there? Maybe.
Well, with the leg lock thing, I guess I've heard it said by old Donahue.
John Donaher.
John Donaher. He said that those are frowned upon because it's like it's saying your system of attacks failed.
People say that about sacrifices. Yeah, I've landed 20 ukiwazas in competition.
I love that throw. I love that throw. Like, that's the only throw I can do. Like, on the fly.
Your style with that throw is very unique. I really like your variation. Because you go like a sauce, like a foot on foot, and I go like past the foot.
What do you mean past the foot?
Like, well, I guess you could say the way I do it, but I don't go on. I just block I block the leg like that, and then you are more.
Oh, okay.
But like I do more blocking the knee.
You don't
so
go
they can't
foot
step
to
over
foot.
my
You just
leg.
Put your leg out there.
But that's just how I started getting it one day. Like, just one day, I thought I was getting, like, at the time, I knew very little about judo. I thought I was getting Yoko Otoshi. I was trying to look up the sacrifice throws to see what throw I was landing so, like, I could be like, okay, well, this is a throw I have. So I just started getting it in the gym all the time. And then I think Mr. Dean was in, and he was like, no, that's ukiwaza. And I was like, okay. So I really just tried to cultivate it. I still go to it. I was talking about this earlier, but like, there's just certain moves over the years that like I could get so easily that I just got bored with them. I moved on.
That one, I almost feel bad
toe.
by going for it because it's like, okay, yeah, that's the one you always go for.
Yeah, I guess that a little bit of that. But not just leg locks. Judo, wrestling, leg locks, wrist locks, neck cranks.
Yeah.
Spinal manipulations,
cranks,
the twister.
Right. Yeah.
Like, leg laces, cradles, which, I mean, those are wrestling. You could just say wrestling. And I think that it's a disservice.
What about cradles? They're illegal, you're saying?
No, I just feel like I feel like there's a problem in jiu-jitsu that people don't study these things because of the sport jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, you do have wrestlers in sport jiu-jitsu, but there's a model out there, and I'm just paraphrasing, but like, and people are chatting about this elsewhere. But Eddie Bravo said there's like 3 types of grappler. You got the guard puller, you got the takedown artist, and you got the leg locker. Right? And the takedown artist is going to take you down and have a gnarly top game. The guard puller is going to pull guard, sweep or submit you, or keep you from passing their guard and win on points. And the leg locker is going to probably pull guard or you can do a leg lock from anywhere.
Exactly.
You know, it's
He
just a
doesn't care. He'll
different type of
disengage.
play, really. And he said, you can't be the best in the world.
Each one.
Unless you can't be only one of those and be the best in the world or among the best in the world. You have to be at least two. And you know what I had to say to that?
Yeah.
Bullshit. You better be all motherfucking three. And that's my goal. Like that's always ever been my goal. And doing all these all that sport, like in my purple belt particularly, got me not focused on that at all. I was like brainwashing myself into not approaching jiu-jitsu what I would perceive now as correctly, because I leave nothing off the table. It's like people want to argue like gi and no gi and shit. Like I've been seeing that stuff on Facebook. It's like, it don't matter if I'm wearing a gi or not. And it's like, it don't matter. Like you think like, and I used to be like, hey, you reap my knee. Like, what are you doing? And now I'm just like, I'm gonna like put you in a vaporizer, you know, like whatever, a calf or a leg crank.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I'm not going to injure you. I don't injure people when I roll. I'm not a douche about it.
Right.
But why not study all things?
All locks, all weights of manipulation.
Why? I mean, and how did it ever get to be any other way? It just baffles me.
Well, there are some lines to be drawn. I mean, we don't want to do we don't want to do a small joint manipulation, do we?
Okay, no, and I'm with that. And I don't want to put my finger in your nose.
Right.
I don't want to lick inside your ear. I don't want to fish hook you or rabbit punch you. No striking. Like, yeah, there's like no fouls, you know. And what I'm talking about are, I guess they're fouls, but they're like disqualifications. You know, it's like an adult black belt in jiu-jitsu, one of the greatest martial arts, most effective martial arts in all of the world, is becoming less effective because they're just fighting for sport. There's all these badass judo throws that are now illegal because they didn't fit the Olympic model.
I guess,
and
okay.
They're forgotten.
Okay, and now that's definitely true.
Tsukanagi.
That's definitely true. And I know, and I don't know, but I suspect that, you know, that same case goes for, you know, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu organization. Not to be named, whatever. Anyway, but
I like ADCC's rules a little more, but I just think like I'm just more along the lines of like have a clean look, have a great process.
my question is there some data that can show, you know, a higher probability of lasting injuries from certain techniques, you know, devastating type of injuries?
Here's what, and you know, yes, I'm sure there's some things out there, and I think the biggest downside is like if you blow out your knee, you might not be able to walk anymore, and that's going to affect your life more than anything. But I'll use this example. I saw one of my guys get put in a shoulder lock the other day.
Yeah.
And like the look on his face and like the way his body twerked and like, you know, like it was just like a morbid thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, hey, dude, I saw you get put in a heel hook just last night and you didn't act that way. Your body didn't do that way. Your face didn't look that way. And part of that, I mean, the way we do the heel hook hurts the ankle. But I think that there's, it to me in the end boils down to more so like either you're a douchebag or you're not. And the ADCC rules this year in the meeting, they said, hey, we want 3 clean taps. That's what they said. And all the competitors were like, that's insane. Like that's my whole leg being destroyed. So like no one had to tap 3 times. Did you see on the Danaher episode when they were breaking down Gordon Ryan versus Cyborg? It's like Gordon Ryan was getting his hands together and Cyborg tapped. You know, that's At that, you know, and like the person I'm talking about is a white belt. They're not at that level yet. But also, like, we were drilling. We're educating ourselves at white belt about that move, and at blue belt, and at purple belt, and onward. It's like I'm just indoctrinating all my people on it now.
Yeah, a better understanding of it. And it could be why that guy tapped early to that heel hook, because there's that stigma behind it of the injury, so he didn't let it get to that point. But there's not that same stigma for the shoulder lock. You should be able to take that into his mind,
and it's like, dude, your rotator cuff, bro. No, ow.
But that's what it is in people's mind. It's like, oh, you're touching the feet.
It is.
Oh,
it's a
good.
stigma.
But oh, you got my shoulder. I want to fight that.
I think, and I don't get it. I don't get why there is that stigma.
I feel the same way. I've been caught in the same. I've caught myself do that, react that way, as if one were okay.
We should come up with a cool name for it, like the reaping paradox.
But the first time I didn't initially tap to a heel hook was Jason Eddy, and it was like a week before a fight, and my ankle snapped, dude. It cracked, and everyone like jumped back around.
That's happened to me on a couple of toe holds.
Oh my gosh.
And that happened to me on an ankle lock in a competition once.
Okay.
Yeah. Not 2 times. We're just in the gym. Sometimes that cartilage in your foot just gives way, like on the top of your foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, but it was super sore. But I was still able to fight. But it was just so
sucks when
scary.
it gets your knee. Yeah. Anytime a joint in your body makes that kind of sound, it's scary shit.
But that's where you want it to give, not at the knee. You'd rather give it the ankle, but my ankle's going to give every time before my knee. Yeah. That's just how they are. They're not very strong.
What, you staying at your mom's tonight? You want to crash here?
I might crash here,
dude,
bro.
for sure. By all means.
But I'm going to holler at my mom, so I'm not sure. I need to.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad you hit me up, man. A little impromptu recording sesh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll throw this up on the site tonight, and I think I might even have my second YouTube episode uploaded at this time. I got my MMA show uploaded. Oh, processing done. We're gonna publish.
We can't stay up too late. We got an early morning tomorrow.
We gotta teach the children.
We gotta do our job as adults.
Yeah. Nice little Saturday job. Yeah, there we go. Life Unraveled number 9, Eli Craner. You're Life Unraveled number 10, my man. Got to watch a little Mifune, talk some martial arts.
I'm Life Unraveled number 10.
Number 10, dude.
But aren't there more than 10 podcasts?
Yeah, but like,
what were they?
So I've done 4 MMA shows. We did a Jiu-Jitsu show. So like MMA Unraveled, Jiu-Jitsu Unraveled. With Flavio was Jiu-Jitsu Unraveled.
Okay.
Right. Then I've done 3 after the shows. That's where I'm like reviewing television series or movies. So the review I'm working on right now, I've got like about 30 minutes recorded on it. Is a review of that movie King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Okay.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah, I like that movie. I saw it.
I got like 7 more pages of notes to go over on that episode. So that's like 18 episodes right there. And then I did 2, I think that's 18. I don't remember where I was at. But 2 music unraveleds. And I'm doing 2 more music unraveleds next Friday. We're going to do one on Maynard from Tool and A Perfect Circle. And
so you got life, music, and jiu-jitsu.
And then history.
Okay, right.
And movies and television after the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did one of those on Black Mirror. We did one of those on...
And then Kama Sutra. Unraveled.
Indeed. Tantric. That was...
I've had a few tantric experiences.
Oh, man.
All 3 elements together.
Too funny.
I'm just kidding.
Well, all right, dude. Well, I guess let's go ahead and sign off, man.
All right, can we say a closing prayer? Amen.
Amen, brother.